what were the challenges that you faced while building Aakash?
First time I thought of starting a clinic, and I went back to my father. He said, "Why don't you join a government service? Private healthcare is not everyone's cup of tea."
We've seen you've gone international. Aakash Healthcare can be seen in Tashkent now. So what are your long-term goals? Where do you see Aakash domestically and internationally, maybe 10 years down the line? आशीष ने क्या गलतियां की हैं आज तक?
बहुत सारी करेंगे.
जैसे?
Rather than your brain, the gut feeling works wonders for you.
कभी सर्जरी में गलती हुई है?
मैं 8 घंटे काम करता था, 8 से 10 हुआ, 12 हुआ, 16 हुआ, 18 हुआ. Where there were 3 or 4 exams which I flunked all.
Namaskar. Welcome to JIMS Founder Series. Today we are honored to have with us a true healthcare visionary, Dr. Aashish Chaudhry, a renowned orthopedic surgeon and a driving force behind Aakash Healthcare, Dwarka. He being the managing director of the hospital and with more than 20 years of his experience in healthcare industry, he has always provided his patients with world-class healthcare facilities. He is the head of orthopedics and joint replacement at Aakash, and he is pioneered minimally invasive techniques ensuring faster recovery and better outcomes for his patients. Beyond his clinical expertise, he has been a passionate advocate for patient care and healthcare innovation. Dr. Aashish, welcome to JIMS Founder Series.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Ashish, tell me something. It's always, very, very fascinating for me to talk about and discuss about the stories of successful entrepreneurs. I would like to ask you a question. You wanted to be a doctor, really? Or was it like a family pressure? One of the boys has to be a doctor. We are running Aakash Institute. We have to prove to the world.
So I belong to that conventional era where, father used to decide, what their kids were going to do in their professional fields. But, his thought process was that, he, at once upon a time when he was trying for his pre-medicals, he could not clear. So he always had that feeling that somebody from the family should do which he could not do. And, that was the only thing he told me. And, there was no pressure, no compulsion to join medicine. But although when you start looking at, the environment around, and frankly, in 90s, when I was, in my formative years, 10th and 12th, there are not many fields which were considered, good at that time. Today, in today's world, we have got multiple options. Even music becomes a lead option for people coming out of 12th class. But at that point in time, I think medicine and engineering were the top-notch things, and whosoever is scoring more than 85, 90 in boards, they ought to take one of these two. So the third option, like economics, humanities, and those were considered untouchables in our times.
Absolutely.
But now, things have changed. But yeah, at that time, it was only a, my own judgment and analysis of what I like from the course. So biology was my one of the favorite subject. But that point in time, I also took mathematics so that, if I don't pass medical, I should still have, an option to go to the engineering, because I was aware that engineering seats were 10 times the medical seats. So that was a fallback plan. But thankfully, I could clear medicine, and 1996 I joined medicine.
People still do that. I mean, if one goes into the preparation of medical exam, generally I've seen students, they take mathematics also. If not medical, then engineering. Maybe this is the notion today also. Yeah.
Today things are still changed. People are very choosy, very picky, and they are very clear. Even if you ask a 10th class boy or a girl, they're very clear what they want to become. I mean, whether they become or not, but the confidence in the voice is very different from what we used to have.
Yes.
Every day we used to change our, decisions, especially even after the MBBS. We were confused whether we should go to US or UK, or we would stay in India, or, there were few friends, next day they decided to study for IAS exam and stuff like that. So I think all these things point to uncertainty or maybe lack of confidence on your own abilities. And I think that takes time. And if you look at those 20 years of, education, I also had many such points where I didn't know what to do. So it's a story you tend to get mature over a period of time.
Absolutely. बट अगर आशीष डॉक्टर नहीं होते तो क्या होते?
डॉक्टर नहीं होता तो क्या होता? स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर होता because I love badminton.
हमें पता लगा
more
that
than
you
anything
love
else.
badminton.
So that's the only profession I can think of. वो नहीं होता तो I love driving, so I can be a driver also.
Oh, doctor
Could have
turned
been a driver.
explorer. Okay. तो बैडमिंटन आपको बहुत पसंद है. कुछ सोचा है आपने आगे बैडमिंटन के लिए?
बहुत
कुछ कर
कुछ
रहे हैं
सोचा है.
आप बैडमिंटन के लिए?
कर रहा हूँ उस फील्ड में भी because अपने लिए तो करते ही हैं, but what can we give back to the society? So I feel
wonderful.
India, being such a country with a majority of population in young age group, and there is no dearth of talent in anything you want to explore. So while I was trying to learn the game and getting the hang of the game, I realized there are so many young kids who were playing so well, but how could one of them can be raised to a level, at least a state level or national level, or one lucky person can go to the Olympics level. Can there be some effort done from our side? That was the thought which came to my mind, and in that direction we started exploring whether we can create a center of excellence for a particular game, because that's the only game which can be played across age groups from as early as 8 years to 60-year-old can play that. And of course, not just for the game, it somebody who starts getting involved in that, so it becomes a fitness mantra for a lot of people, even in middle age.
Absolutely. Yes.
Whereas if you go for cricket or football, you would have 15 odd people trying to fetch a team, but here two people can manage a game. So I strongly feel that government has done a lot for us. India has done a lot for us in terms of medicine. I still remember how much government has paid for us to undergo MBBS program. So I still remember my annual fees was 510 rupees. From 1996 to 2001, and my hostel fees was 700 rupees for a year.
Oh my God!
And electricity and everything else was free. Oh. So you can't imagine how much government takes pain. So there has to be a ways and means how we can give back to the society. And once we are in a position, we should try and do that. And I'm doing the same for my main professional field and also for my hobby, which is badminton.
Very nice. So, Aashish, how did you thought of making Aakash Healthcare? I mean, you are from a background where your father, he started Aakash Institute, and then the coaching institution was started for students who were doing their medical preparation. And Aakash Healthcare is by virtue of being a doctor, or you had a clear vision since your childhood that?
Not at all. I was an immature kid, and it's all destiny which brought us here, and today we are talking about it on a podcast. So this healthcare thing, I was only clear until I was entering medicine that I have to clear the exam and then plan for a post graduation. I didn't know which specialty to take, but when you clear MBBS, and fortunately there is a last year which you go through all specialties and as an intern. So that's the internship, where you can have a look and feel of every specialty, and whatever interests you the most, you can pick up, or you can at least try for that post graduation. So all throughout those 12 months, I was going from medicine to surgery to dermatology and also even gynecology. Today male doctors also take gynecology.
Yes.
So everywhere I felt I cannot take pediatrics because the kids, they don't stop crying looking at doctors. We go to gynecology, this is not my field. I feel more feminine than masculine. So for every specialty there was one or the other age. Medicine, I can't read ECG, so I had one or the other. So when I entered orthopedics, that was only a 15 days branch posting, and I saw all 6 feet plus guys, and they were totally away from studies. They were, in the OT, they were doing a carpentry work rather than anything else. So I liked that work very much. And that day I decided, whatever happens, I'll take orthopedics, whether it takes 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years repeat mode, but I'll go for that. And that's how I, started loving orthopedics. But later on, I realized it's not just carpentry; it's a very professional art of, operating, and that's how the journey started back in 2004. And since that time, I'm doing this.
So now, building a successful healthcare institution like Aakash, it is no small feat. Like your journey must be filled of, a lot of triumphs and setbacks, a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges your way. So, what were the challenges that you faced while building Aakash?
So the first, the place where we are sitting, we got this piece of land back in 2004 when I just started my orthopedics, and the after doing 3 years of post graduation, then residency, fellowship, everything, 2010, I started private practice, and that first time I thought of starting a clinic as a single specialty, and I went back to my father that. I want to start a clinic. So he was very, he said, why don't you join a government service? Private healthcare, it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yes.
And you may or may not be a good surgeon. So government job is a safer job.
Safer job, yes.
So, but, one incident I recall meeting a senior surgeon, and I got inspired to get into private and build a name for my own orthopedic practice rather than fall back on Akash's name. So that's how I started small with a single specialty clinic, ran for 3 years, then converted into a polyclinic. And this hospital, nobody was clear whether we should invest so much because as a doctor you don't know. I mean, your clinical field, but how do you run a business of healthcare, or how do you bring up a hospital facility which is such a regulated environment? It requires, so much of capital. It requires so much of project management team. It requires, multiple departments to work with. It requires 55 licenses even before you take the first patient inside. And all these things, of course, I was totally novice in that time. And of course, somebody investing money on somebody who doesn't know ABC of the task which has been given, and it's a very cost-intensive thing. But despite all this, somehow I managed to convince them, and we went ahead and started this facility in 2017. It took us 3.5 years to build this. So all during the building time, the project time, I was involved right from day one till the last day, and thereafter as well. But it was an exciting journey. It was the only thing which mattered for me was that every day there was a new learning from each one of the team members, whether it was from projects, from clinical, from non-clinical, and I had my own set of mistakes which I committed, and there was a cost to every mistake I did. There was a cost of every learning, but if I look back now, those mistakes were, I think, important for the sake of learning. The most difficult part was to manage the people and to find the right set of talent, especially the doctors, and also to convince them to be a part of my vision to create a healthcare brand which can reckon with trust, quality, excellence, and not just a place to earn money. So initially, I was fortunate to, since I had a background of 7-8 years of clinical practice, I handpicked those surgeons and doctors, physicians who I knew they were, ethically good, and they may not be very popular in the area, but they were very good at their work. And we collected those people and started, with a very small team, and gradually built on to everything. Fortunately for us, the footfall started increasing very fast, and in a private healthcare facility with a new, fresh brand, everything going operationally break even in 18 months. That is what we achieved with that young team at place. And thereafter, COVID gave us an equal platform for every hospital.
Yes.
Nobody knew how to treat COVID, and we together, all of the surgeons and doctors who were even not doing anything else, they were just managing COVID patients, and more than 10,000 patients we treated in those 3 years, and I was taking care of the COVID command center. because otherwise there was no orthopedic work. So and every doctor was joining hands to try and treat maximum number of COVID patients. We have seen those times when we lost 12 patients in a single day. We have seen those times when we have saved a 90-year-old severely affected COVID patient after 60 days of ICU treatment. We have saved patients after 53 days of multiple ventilators, and even that patient has been sent back home. So that was the experience which gave us enough confidence to sky's the limit to work.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
if you work really hard, whatever is the background, doesn't matter, you can touch the sky.
No doubt, Ashish, that your perseverance and your never going back attitude has taken you where you are today. So Aakash has now a leading healthcare provider, and your vision extends beyond the national boundaries. We've seen you've gone international. Aakash Healthcare can be seen in Tashkent now. So, what are your long-term goals? Where do you see Aakash domestically and internationally, maybe 10 years down the line?
Majorly, it is domestic affiliation, because I don't want, the brand can travel outside, can give some support in terms of the quality care which we can deliver to the people outside. But more so, it's for the Indians, because we have been trained by government, and we should give back to the society here first. So the priority is for Indian and in Indian soil. And all our efforts for last few years have been to increase the footprint, so that nowadays the traffic is so much, people don't want to travel, and especially for acute conditions like heart attack, stroke, and other things. You don't have time. Time is brain, time is heart.
Yes.
In such situations. So there we need to replicate. We need to, rather than getting patients to one hospital, let's take the hospital to their locations and try and be in their vicinity, and not just focus on the emergencies and treatment of diseases, but also to promote healthcare and focus on the prevention, because COVID has given us that lesson that you have to intervene early. You have to go back to the society and develop community health, so that patients should not only come to the hospital for taking treatment or getting surgeries done, but they also come for maintaining wellness. So that's the new thing which we feel is going to let the healthcare brands survive, because if we try and focus on the preventive part, of course the treatment part we already know, but how do we touch base those 98% of people who are healthy, supposedly healthy, and they're not coming to the hospital, but how can we touch base and make sure that we find out, pick up early cases of cancers, early cases of diabetes and other non-communicable diseases, and try and give them the treatments early on, so that the long-term complications gets prevented.
Wonderful, what a vision. Absolutely. आशीष ने क्या गलतियां की हैं आज तक?
बहुत सारी करेंगे।
जैसे
सारी माइक पे नहीं बोल सकते,
कुछ बता सकते हैं।
लेकिन हेल्थ केयर में सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ जो गलती करके सीखा, वो राइट पेशेंट सिलेक्शन. And many times, I think, rather than your brain, the gut feeling works wonders for you. And I have, taken few decisions like that, and which my team never agreed, but it came out to be super success. We have got some live examples of doctors who were hired just by the gut feel, and they were super successful.
Wonderfully well.
Our team knows, and now they look back, अच्छा ये इसका decision अब जाके 4 साल बाद अच्छा लगता है. My father invested in this piece of land in 2004. Nobody knew 2004 में 2024 में यहाँ पर मतलब मिट्टी सोना बन जाएगी, और हम यहाँ पर इतना बड़ा फैसिलिटी बना देंगे. आज की टाइम में हम इसके आसपास सिमिलर का इससे आधा भी नहीं खरीद सकते.
बिल्कुल.
तो वो एक फार साइटेडनेस होती है, गट फील होती है. आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं वो it can't be quantified, cannot be explained in words, but it is there in few blessed people.
और कोई गलती?
बहुत सारी हैं, तो मैंने कभी नोट नहीं किया, बट
कभी सर्जरी में गलती हुई है?
सर्जरी में होती है. if you are doing surgeries, then complications are bound to happen. So I was always afraid सर्जरी कैसे करते होंगे लोग. जब मैं पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करता था, तो मैं अपने सीनियर्स को देखता था, यार इतना सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, पता नहीं हम कब करेंगे, कभी ऐसा दिन आएगा कि हम भी इंडिपेंडेंट करेंगे. सो 2007 आई फिनिश माई पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन एंड द वेरी नेक्स्ट डे आई स्टार्टेड सीनियर रेजिडेंसी एंड द सेम डे इवनिंग I got a kid of 3 months whose hip was infected and I had to operate the hip joint. And my senior resident, who was 2 years senior to me, he said कि इसको दूध पिला दो और बोल देना कि भाई अब तो दूध पी लिया, अब कल सर्जरी होगा, कल सीनियर आगे करेगा. So I mean he had gave me that advice just to escape that small kid को आर्टरी कट गई, ये हो गया वो हो गया. सब मैंने कहा नहीं, ये तो पहला मौका मिला है और मैं उस पहले मौके की पनौती बना दूँ, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता. So even if it is, I have got enough, I have seen so many cases of similar size and problem being operated by my seniors. I should not shy away from such a thing, and that's how I started. My first case, and that after that there was no looking back. I could manage safely. I could come out of the procedure, without any complication to that baby. And after that, that single case, the first case, the very tiny baby, and I, did not listen to the senior that I should not. I let go this case and look for a simpler case, an adult patient, simpler case. That should be the starting. Otherwise, तेरा career खराब हो जाएगा.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So ऐसे कई complications हुई. The only thing which I still follow, I learned total knee replacement. Initial there were few complications, but I never left that patient. जब complication हो गया तो patient को complication के बारे में बताना और उसको बाहर निकाल के उसको fully rehabilitate करना तक मैंने उसको follow किया. So complication हर कोई करता है, लेकिन उसको abandon नहीं करना है, उसको सपोर्ट करना है, उसको एंड तक लेके जाना है, उसको जिस एक्सपेक्टेशन से वो आया उसको मैक्सिमम उसको रियलाइज कराने तक. You should not abandon the patient. That's what I feel, because when I entered into medicine, there was a surgeon who was a laparoscopy surgeon. He gave me only one piece of advice, that I asked him that how can you don't get afraid of these surgeries, artery cut जाए कुछ हो जाए. I was just a 12th pass student and I just got the result of getting into MBBS at Maulana Azad. So he said me one thing, that there is a book on surgery which is called the Bible. Bailey and Love is the name of that book. He said that those two surgeons, it's an original manuscript of those two surgeons, which is now revered as the best surgery book across the globe.
Okay.
Now अब उन surgeons ने वो सारी complication लिखी हुई है कि ये होता तो ये कर होगा, ये होगा तो ये होगा. तो ये सारी कॉम्प्लिकेशन उन्होंने करी है, तभी उन्होंने लिखा है. इससे पहले आज तक किसी ने ना वो सर्जरी डिवाइस करी, उन्होंने सर्जरी किया, गलती करी, गलती से सीखा और उसको किताब में लिखा. तो जब बेली एंड लव कॉम्प्लिकेशन कर सकते थे, तुम कहाँ के हो? तो डोंट शाई अवे फ्रॉम कॉम्प्लिकेशन. Gradually, only thing is, whatever you commit a mistake, try and undo it, try and learn from it, so that it should not get repeated later on.
Absolutely. Learning from mistake is very important. Some of your precious moments. Can you throw some light on that?
The first day at this hospital, the opening, for after 3.5 years of struggling in the project, that was the last time I cried.
Oh.
I don't know why, but that got captured in photographs.
Oh.
And
nice. Heartwarming.
it was an overwhelming situation where we were waiting desperately for 4 years, every day, going from 8th floor to basement 3, and
so near to your heart.
Dream getting realized, baby getting born for a mother, something like that. That was a moment which I can't forget. And even when the new building was inaugurated, that was also a high emotional moment, but that cannot be repeated. That was हर फर्स्ट बच्चे को हर कोई प्यार करता है, ज़्यादा प्यार करता है.
Yes.
तो वो पहला मोमेंट था, इसलिए आज तक याद है, and that's a special moment.
आशीष, डर किस चीज़ से लगता है?
टाइमलाइंस मीट नहीं होती तो डर लगता है. एंड बाकी तो प्रोफेशनल स्पेस में ऑफ कोर्स doctors, especially surgeons, they sometimes they are timid in terms of जब बहुत पेशेंट होते हैं, अरे यार इतने पेशेंट आ गए, टाइम ही नहीं है. और एक दिन थोड़ा पेशेंट कम आते हैं तो उसी से हवा फूस हो जाती है कि अरे यार पेशेंट ही नहीं है आज तो पेशेंट ही नहीं है. हम हमारी पॉपुलैरिटी कम हो गई है. दीज अप्स एंड डाउन्स, I think these were few things which used to affect me very early on when you are not sure about yourself. But with passage of time, the only thing is every day you have to do a small bit more than the yesterday.
Yes.
So you start building onto that gradually over maybe 10 years, 15 years. You reach a stage when these small little aberration doesn't matter. If you are a millionaire and you get 10 millions or 50 millions, after a point, it doesn't matter whether you have 1 billion or 20 billion, you're going to, have the same car, same food, same air, everything same. So there comes a point when all these insecurities, they get, you don't worry about these things. So because I was handling the administration as well as clinical, fortunately I could, come out of this insecurity very early on. But my profession colleagues, I still know few of them, they get worried. I keep counseling them. Doesn't really matter. If today you got some extra time, free time, patients are not there, might as well utilize in your personal space. So that will also be, only investing in those relationships is also important.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are a leader. You are the owner of such a big healthcare institution. People must be scared of you. How do you maintain that harmonious, engaging, and strong relationship with your staff and with your team? How do you do that?
शुरू में तो उनको लगता था जहाँ से निकलो इधर उधर हो जाते थे. मुझे लगता था कोविड आ रहा है, हर कोई मास्क पहन लेता था मेरे को देखते ही. So, but if you set an example for them in terms of your professional commitment, and you always take unbiased decisions. You don't favor a particular person or a department. Then people gradually realize that whatever comes by, if you are welcoming to the critical feedbacks, you go back into the even the lowest employee should know that they will be taken care of in their times of, and if you touch base with them and their families, that is the only time they're going to stick to you. Because if you want to run an organization, you need people.
Yes.
Robots cannot run the organization. You need humans, and you can't stop people with money. Because if you are one billionaire, you will have another Mukesh Ambani or Elon Musk above you, to buy those people, buy those doctors or the talent. So apart from that, you have to build bonds with those people. Whether in our healthcare, it is great workforce of nursing, doctors, support staff. Everybody feels special if they are valued, if they are acknowledged, if they are appreciated, if they feel that the organization thinks about them and their families. More than just a transactional relationship. कि अब पहली तारीख आई, सैलरी ट्रांसफर हो गया, चलो जी अब 30 दिन काम करो. बीमार हो गए तो उसके पैसे काट लिए. ठीक है, you don't follow rules. So there are ground rules have to be there, to maintain that process, discipline, also to attract the investor.
Yes, absolutely.
But otherwise, the human factor has to always be there, because unless you engage them informally, in fact, there has been so many episodes where informally we have tried to celebrate a lot of festivals and we find one of the other talent in those people whom we never knew. They were working some in a corner of the hospital, and they were great singers. In fact, we labeled 2 nursing staff as nightingales because they're fantastic singers. I found one of my orthopedic resident. I never knew he sings so well. He sang 2 days ago. That was the first time I heard him. So that is the talent he's harboring. And somebody does a fantastic mimicry of myself also. They were looking as if, exact mimicry. So these are the things which
करते
I
क्या हैं
think
आप? कोई मिमिक्री करता है आपके बीच में आके, तो what do you do?
I can't do. I have to laugh. The better he or she does, it's more fun. So you have to connect beyond just the professional space. Of course, it has to be in realm of some limits, but you have to build those relationships. And yes, even then people would have some compelling reasons to go from one place to the other, but दुनिया गोल है, वो फिर वापस आते हैं. हमारे पास आज ऐसे ऐसे एम्प्लॉयज हैं जो घूम घूम के पहले साल में थे, तीसरे में वापस आए, फिर चले गए, फिर आ गए. सो ऐसे भी हैं लोग. तो ये जो सर्कल है ये तो घूमता रहेगा. पीपल विल स्टिल, दिस अ स्मॉल इंडस्ट्री. आज वो दिल्ली में है, फिर गुड़गांव में होंगे, फिर नोएडा में होंगे, फिर वापस द्वारका में आ जाएंगे. सो द रिलेशनशिप्स हैव टू कंटिन्यू.
Yes, but no doubt you're a true gentleman. How do you balance your professional and personal life? It's a constant juggling act. A lot of planning, prioritization is required. And
कुछ ना कुछ तो मिस होता ही है.
because you're being a leader, your time and lot of demands for your time, your energy must be immense.
So जहाँ मैं 8 घंटे काम करता था, 8 से 10 हुआ, 12 हुआ, 16 हुआ, 18 हुआ, अब सब 5:30 से रात के 10 बजे तक तो हो गया. अब उसके आगे टाइम ही नहीं है. So I always think the days shorter, but you have to prioritize, you have to streamline what are your short-term, long-term goals, and one has to manage the things. Personal space, of course, my father used to say that अगर आपने डॉक्टर बनना है तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल पहले दिन आप लिखो कि आप वो क्या क्या सेक्रीफाइस करने के लिए तैयार हो. वो 10 चीज़ें लिखते थे. मोबाइल बंद करने को तैयार हो, फ्रेंड से बात नहीं करोगे 1 साल तैयार हो, इसके लिए तैयार हो, उसके लिए तैयार हो. वो 10 पॉइंट पहले लिखवाते थे हमसे.
इतना मानते थे आशीष?
बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा. He was a superstar teacher for,
Yes.
unfortunately he never used to teach me outside the classroom. If I happened to miss that class, he would never teach me at home. That was a discipline. My mother used to fight with him. यार अपने बच्चों को नहीं पढ़ाते हो. कहते यहाँ घर में पढ़ाने और डेकोरम डिसिप्लिन वहाँ होता है. So he was a very tough master.
Yeah, that's the values he wanted to give you.
99% मेरा अटेंडेंस रहता था, क्योंकि मुझे पता था यहाँ नहीं पढ़ा तो घर पे तो कुछ, और सब बच्चे बोलते तू तो घर पढ़ लेता होगा, जबकि it was exactly the opposite. So I think that discipline maybe did the wonders for us, because we kept us focused and always on the toes to keep working hard.
आप अपनी फैमिली के लिए टाइम कब निकालते हैं? डू यू कम ऑन संडेज?
हाँ, हाफ डे
आते हैं.
तो वो कभी वो इधर आ जाते हैं, कभी शाम को. अभी मैं आते हुए उनसे पूछ रहा था भी चलो आज 24 तारीख है कहीं शाम को चला. उनके अपने पहले प्लान बने हुए. तो अब मैंने जब स्टार्ट हुआ था, दैट टाइम आई हैव ओनली सीन माई डॉटर्स ग्रोइंग लाइक दिस, नॉट लाइक दैट. बिकॉज जब निकलता था सोरी होती थी, आता था सोरी होती थी, दोनों टाइम ऐसे होता था. बट या सो sometimes now gradually the things are settling down, so I find moments where at least they should feel I am around, and I take care of those small little things.
So behind every successful man there is a woman. I'll put it other way. Behind every successful individual there is someone special. So who's that special someone who has played a significant role in your journey?
हमें तो कहीं और देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. Always I used to feel how my father has worked. So हमें उनको बीट नहीं करना है, लेकिन हमें उनसे इंस्पायर होकर उनके जैसा मेहनत तो करनी है. एंड रिजल्ट वट एवर मे बी. So in my formative year I have seen him. He was only a biology teacher, but he was writing notes for chemistry, physics, mathematics. And that time there was no printers. There was cyclostyling, where he used to type himself all night. एंड देन वहाँ पर वाइट फ्लूइड लगा के वो जो गलत वर्ड होते थे उनको सही करते थे. और फिर 20 बच्चे थे उनके पास उस टाइम. अब 20 बच्चों को पोस्ट करने में इतना मोटा बंडल होता था, उसका पोस्टल चार्जेस भी ज़्यादा होते थे. तो अपने लड़के को बिठा के स्कूटर में जाते थे, 20 बच्चों के घर के दूर खड़ा होकर वो लड़का दे के आता था. सो आई हैव सीन दोज टाइम्स व्हेन ही यूज्ड टू वर्क दैट हार्ड. एंड वो सारी क्लासेस का पढ़ाई करना, फिर अपने स्कूल भी जाना, फिर कहीं और पढ़ा के आना. So entire journey, and even after that when he became super successful, उनका काम का जो डिटर्मिनेशन वो वैसे ही रहा. आज वो सब रिटायर भी हो गए, तब भी वो सुबह तैयार होकर अपना ऑफिस चले जाते. क्या करते हैं पता नहीं, बट जाना है और शाम तक वहीं बैठना है, वहाँ मीटिंग करनी है. अब न्यूमरोलॉजी पकड़ लिया तो उसमें लगे हुए हैं. सो इवन एट 75 he doesn't want to retire. So somebody would look at some superstar or Bollywood star. Doctors would look at the super successful clinicians across India. But I think we had the example right at home, and we always used to get inspired. But yeah, there has been few junior surgeons There was one junior surgeon I know. He gave me, the art of actual practical art of operating, in orthopedic surgery in the OT, because he was the guy. He used to. So Delhi में senior resident concept होता था, हमारी जो independent surgical training होती है कम होती है. Whereas you go to states like Bhopal and UP and other, वहाँ पर क्या है, बहुत जल्दी आपको सर्जिकल वर्क मिलता है.
अच्छा.
So he was 2 years, 3 years junior to me, but he actually taught me each and every step of how to do a procedure. Although he was a junior to me, and today he's also running a hospital, but I always give credit of giving, the nuances of doing the right procedure, balancing everything to one of my junior. So there has been such inspiration, but the top, the first award goes to my father for giving us that.
Heartwarming that he has played a special role in your heart. Any particular instance can you narrate where his guidance has proved to be really valuable in your journey?
Guidance तो हमेशा रहता है, but although he was a very tough master, he never used to praise. कुछ भी हम करके ले आए, जैसे वो मूवी आई थी ना दंगल में, वो बाबूजी शाबाशी नहीं देते हैं, लास्ट में आगे देते हैं. हाँ. उनको देख के उनकी याद आती है हमेशा. कुछ भी कर रहा हो, कितने भी नंबर हैं, अच्छा थोड़ा सा और होने चाहिए थे, थोड़े से और होने चाहिए थे. तो so there were 2 years where I was trying not to, I was trying for orthopedics in US and UK. On those 2 years were my worst year in terms of professional growth, where there were 3 or 4 exams which I flunked all.
Oh.
चारों एग्जाम में फेल हुए. लास्ट एग्जाम में फेल होने के बाद जब अब मुझे लगा फादर को फ़ोन करेंगे, उन्हें इतने पैसे ख़राब कर दिए, ये हुआ, बट उनका जो कंफर्टिंग सेंटेंस था कि कोई बात नहीं, फॉर अ सन. सो आई थिंक वो कॉन्फिडेंस जो ब्रेक हो जाता उस दिन,
हाँ,
वो रिबिल्ड हो गया,
रीगेन कर लिया, और आपको लगा नहीं अब तो करके दिखाना है.
ये 2002 या 3 की बात है. तो आई थिंक वो ऐसे स्पेशल मोमेंट्स होते हैं जब आप यू आर लुकिंग फॉर दैट काइंड ऑफ एनकरेजमेंट in your lowest possible phase of life, and then you always remember those people.
Yes. आपका biggest risk आपने जो लिया हो कभी related to your hospital or any other?
Biggest risk, मतलब opening per se hospital without any knowledge was the biggest risk, but in surgeries also, sometimes I have operated. The first case which I did, I never knew how to do a knee surgery, and बस फितूर था कि करनी है, अकेले करनी है. And the first case I convinced a patient, and he was a poor patient. Then I found कि कहाँ पर मुझे सबसे सस्ते में हो जाएगा. And one of my senior was working गाजियाबाद से भी आगे, हापुड़ रोड पे उनका मेडिकल कॉलेज था. पिलखुआ छोटा सा एक गाँव है, वहाँ पर एक मेडिकल कॉलेज में वो काम करते थे.
अच्छा.
उन्होंने कहा भाई इतने में हो जाएगा. तो मैं उसको 5 बजे यहाँ से गाड़ी में उठा के पेशेंट को मैं ही ले गया. पेशेंट अटेंडेंट, अच्छा करना भी कम आता था, तो जो कंपनी वाला था उसको भी बिठा के ले गया, क्योंकि अगर कंपनी वाला नहीं गया तो मैं करूँगा कैसे.
बिल्कुल. तो
उसको भी ले जाना था, तो गाड़ी करके रेंट करके हम वहाँ गए. सुबह सर्जरी वर्जरी करके आए, इम्प्लांट वाले को दिया. 3,000 I earned on that day for doing this all entire journey of taking the patient, attendant, everything. But that was my first case. So इतना 60 किलोमीटर जाके ट्रैवल किया. 3,000 इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं था, लेकिन अपने को आप करने वाला इम्पोर्टेंट था. ऐसे पहले साल में 6 या 7 केस भी किए होंगे, तो ऐसे एफर्ट मार के किए. अब हम दिन में 6 करते हैं, वहाँ साल में 6 थे. तो वो जो जर्नी है वो शुरू तो कहीं से करना है. So वो जो never dying spirit हमेशा होनी चाहिए. You have to find ways and means to find what you want and how you can achieve it.
अभी रिसेंटली हमें पता चला आशीष को कॉफ़ी बहुत पसंद है. कुछ कॉफ़ी ब्रांड्स भी शुरू करने जा रहा है. आकाश हेल्थ केयर नहीं, आकाश कॉफ़ीज़, कुछ ऐसा प्लान?
नहीं, ऐसे मतलब उसको एक बिजनेस मॉडल की तरह तो नहीं सोचा, बट या एक वो दिनचर्या में 2 कप ऑफ कॉफ़ी तो होता ही है. एंड ऑफ कोर्स फॉर लास्ट फ्यू आई वुड से 2 years I've been exploring the science of coffee making, and what is the difference. Just like people have got flair for wine tasting, I've started loving different types of coffees, and the Indian population is coming of age with the coffee tasting. And जहाँ वो चाय loving country थी, वो धीरे धीरे coffee is also contributing to, especially for the Gen Z and Alpha and what जो नए नए नाम आने लगे, millennials तो पीछे हो गए, but the new generation is fond of the coffee and their varieties. But yeah, so on a lighter note, I try and escape a moment, and more so for me, it has become I would say a mode of interacting over a business meeting or something that has also become much more easier with the coffee around.
Oh, great. Aashish, what according to you is a perfect future of healthcare in India?
Perfect future will be that most of the care will go to the homes of people. Hospitals will cease to exist. Only for terminal conditions, only for high complex surgeries, people will visit hospital. The rest of the things will go to their homes.
So are you doing anything about it? Aakash is doing anything about it?
So from the healthcare standpoint, the surrounding population, we try and at least deliver 20% of our services to their homes. Of course, it's not in an organized manner, but yeah, there are a lot of players, tech support, tech companies, apps coming up, which can not only connect you to your preferred hospital, but also get the doctor, the nursing, and the support services getting delivered right at their doorsteps. Barring operating a patient, rest everything can go back to their home. So there will be a time when hospitals will only be there only for admission, getting the surgery done. Rest everything will be done at homes.
Oh, you are a true healthcare visionary, no doubt. One habit of yours that you want to change, Aashish?
To sleep more. I want to sleep more. I'm sleeping
You're not
less.
able to sleep.
Yeah,
Lot of work.
Just 4 hours.
Oh.
I want to sleep more.
Oh.
I want to change this because a lot of studies are related to sleeping with your health long term.
Yes.
You have to give rest to your brain so that it can rejuvenate faster and better.
That is required. Sleep is important. One weird habit of yours, strange habit of yours, which your kids and wife wants to change.
फूड हैबिट्स में भी
हैबिट्स तो बहुत होती हैं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि हैबिट नहीं हो.
वो जो बेड पे सब कपड़े फेंक जाते हैं वो ठीक नहीं होता, इसलिए मैंने रूम में चेंज कर लिया कि मैं यहाँ तैयार यहीं होऊंगा ताकि कोई देखे ना, और जाके मेड को फोन कर दिया कि ठीक कर देना.
ये प्रॉब्लम तो वाइफ को होगी. व्हाट अबाउट किड्स? बच्चों को इस चीज़ से प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती कि डैडी ने
बच्चे भी उनको भी ऐसे सिखा दिया मैंने. मैं तो कहता हूँ
पर उन्होंने सीख लिया तो वो आपकी इस हैबिट को चेंज नहीं करना चाहते होंगे. बच्चे क्या चाहते हैं, पापा में क्या चेंज हो?
थोड़ा और टाइम से घर आए.
यस, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
घूमने चले, कहते हैं 10 दिन के लिए घूमने चलो. 10 दिन तो बहुत ज़्यादा है.
तो आप नहीं निकाल पाते कभी 10 दिन का टाइम?
ऐसे करते हैं कि वो ट्रिप होता है, वो चले जाते हैं, मैं लास्ट में ज्वाइन करता हूँ. 2 दिन 3 दिन ऐसे कुछ प्लान कर लेते हैं. बट वी फाइंड ways and means to connect.
But you want to go with them for 10 days, but it's about work that you're not able to leave and you're not able to go.
Maybe after 4-5 years, if they want to go with us or no. बच्चे भी तो उल्टे हो जाएंगे, आपके पापा और मम्मी डिस्टर्बेंस है.
पर आपको ऐसा नहीं लगता कि अगर अभी आपने उन्हें उनके हिसाब से टाइम नहीं दिया तो उनको एक आदत पड़ जाएगी कि नहीं पापा तो जाएंगे ही नहीं. तो अगर पापा जाएंगे नहीं,
आदत पड़ने लगती है, मैं चला जाते
हैं. Okay, Aashish, tell me, what is the impact of technology in healthcare industry?
Every day we are talking about technology adoption in healthcare, whether it is the software based, whether it is accounting, whether it is the doctor patient communication through prescriptions online, whether it is e-pharmacies, or the seamless integration of all the the services in the hospital, or it is a patient app through which they can book the appointments. So this is becoming very common, and it is very convenient for the patients and the attendants to follow up the treatments, to go back to the doctor, and carry on with their healthcare services delivery. But apart from that, introduction of robotics, artificial intelligence, there are so many technology, augmented reality, they are coming up. In my own orthopedic field, robotic knee replacements are becoming very common. Augmented reality solutions, AI solutions. So Technology is here to stay. Only thing is healthcare, since we are dealing with life and death, one has to be very sure that every technology which is put to use, they should be beneficial for the patient. They should be
Yes.
safe for the first. They should be safe,
Patient
and then they should be
security is
beneficial.
must. Yes.
And they should reduce the burden of disease faster. They should be easier in hands of surgeons, and they should be cheaper also. Unfortunately, every technology gets introduced, it is very expensive. It is unaffordable for most of our Indians. And over a period of time, if it becomes successful, gradually the price comes down. So we hope that all this technology should be indigenously built. बिकॉज वो इंडिया में बनेगी तो सस्ती भी होगी. इतना पॉपुलेशन है जो महीने के 500 रुपये 1000 रुपये कमाते हैं, या दे आर बेयरली एबल टू मीट देयर नीड्स. हाउ कैन दे अफोर्ड अ टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड हेल्थ केयर? सो वी हैव टू थिंक ऑन अ लार्जर स्केल. If we have to really put a technology to use, it should be usable by at least a majority of population.
Aakash Healthcare is a super specialty hospital. और कुछ तो ऐसा होगा which is there in your short term goal कि ये नहीं है और ये मुझे अभी करना है within 1 year.
Gradually, we have developed all the programs. One last program which I feel is maybe the icing on the cake is the cardiac transplant program. We have already implemented kidney, liver, bone marrow. The cardiac transplant we already applied. So we are waiting for our first cardiac heart transplant, to be done here.
हार्ट ट्रांसप्लांट के लिए तो बहुत सारे और लॉजिस्टिक्स हैं. आई मीन यू हैव टू इन्फॉर्म द गवर्नमेंट. और
We are prepared for that.
उसमें क्या करना क्या होता है?
उसमें उनका अप्रूवल चाहिए होता है. There is a committee which comes and sees your facility. So they came for kidney, they came for liver, they came for bone marrow, they came for eye, cornea transplant, and for cardiac also they have a separate protocol. So we have prepared everything. We are waiting for them to pass, and then we wait for the first, transplant opportunity, because heart is only single organ in the body, so it's only a cadaveric heart transplant. So whenever there is a brain dead patient, which gets approved for the cadaver transplant, only that time you can. And if it is your name is in that list, then one can be fortunate enough to have the heart transplant. So it's not a everyday thing, but yeah, we have to prepare all throughout the year.
Yeah, because while my team was coming here, there was heavy rush just outside the hospital. If you're, preparing for cardiac transplant like thing, इस ट्रैफिक का क्या होगा? क्योंकि वो ग्रीन चैनल बनाना पड़ेगा.
हमने 3 बार ये कर चुके हैं हम.
अच्छा.
हमने किडनी के लिए भी किया, हमने लिवर के लिए भी किया. यहाँ से 5 ऑर्गन निकाला, 2 ऑर्गन हमने लिया, 3 ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नोटो करता है जो नेशनल ऑर्गन रजिस्ट्री है. तो 3 ऑर्गन जो गए यहाँ से, एक गया एस्कॉट्स गया, एक मेदांता गया, दूसरी जगह गया, सबके लिए ग्रीन कॉरिडोर बना.
तो वो इमीडिएटली हो जाता है? आपको आज मॉर्निंग में इन्फॉर्मेशन आई कि
2 घंटे में हो जाता है.
किसी को
ब्रेन
डेड हो गया है.
नहीं, एक्चुअली जब पता लगा ब्रेन डेड हो गया, फिर किसको क्या क्या ऑर्गन अलॉट होगा, और ऑर्गन रिट्रीव होके वहाँ तक पहुँचने में 4 या 5 घंटा होता है. उन 4-5 घंटे में ये सारा काम हो जाता है. Delhi police is very proactive, traffic police is very proactive. Whenever they get the information for a green corridor for such a cause, they are immediate. यहाँ से भी हार्वेस्ट होके गया है और दूसरी जगह से भी हार्वेस्ट होके यहाँ पर आके लगा है. तो दोनों में ही हमें ग्रीन चैनल बन जाते हैं.
ऑर्गन डोनेशन के लिए हॉस्पिटल क्या कर रहा है? व्हाट इज द प्रोसीजर?
ऑर्गन डोनेशन के लिए प्लेजिंग तो इज अ कॉमन थिंग वी डू फॉर ऑल आवर एम्प्लॉइज आउटसाइड. There are some special days in the year where we do some poster making, patient education, attendance होते हैं, सबको हम motivate करते हैं. Some skits we plan for during those days. And there is a week of organ donations where we conduct camps in schools also, where we motivate the kids to, of course they will go back and motivate their parents as well. So it's a long journey. It's a repeat mode where you have to continue, and every time there is a patient who is in that zone, then we get the team, we counsel the attendants, and of course that's a difficult moment for them, but still if somebody who may not be directly related to the patient, maybe ताया चाचा मामा होते हैं, वो थोड़े से लॉजिकली सोच सकते हैं, उनको भी हम कन्विंस करते हैं. So जहाँ पर वो एग्री करते हैं, there was a boy, 17-year-old boy who lost life because of a road traffic accident, and young boy, all organs, they agreed to donate all the organs. and that saved life of more than 9 people.
तो आप क्या करते हैं in case somebody wants to donate the organ after his or her death? So do you give a card or something so that
So
the
pledging
family
होता
can
See,
utilize that later on?
नो इसमें क्या होता है कि आप ये प्लेज कर सकते हो कि मैं अपने ऑर्गन्स दूंगा, बट अगेन एट दैट मोमेंट इट्स नॉट द डिसीजन, मतलब ये इट्स नॉट फोर्स्ड.
Okay.
ऑप्ट आउट ऑप्ट इन 2 ऑप्शंस होती हैं, कुछ कंट्रीज कुछ फॉलो करती हैं. हमारे यहाँ पर हमें ऑप्ट इन करना पड़ेगा. अगर कुछ ऐसी कंट्रीज है जहाँ पर एज्यूम्ड है कि अगर आपकी डेथ हो गई और आपका ऑर्गन हम मतलब हम हार्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं, अनलेस यू हैव साइन फॉर ऑप्टिंग आउट.
Okay.
ठीक है, अगर आपने पहले मरने से पहले आपने लिख दे दिया कि मेरे ऑर्गन नहीं लेने, तभी आपका नहीं लिया जाएगा, अदरवाइज आपका ऑर्गन ले लिया जाएगा.
ले लिया जाए. Okay.
So it's
Okay, got it
coming
now.
from the government. So हमारा it's more flexible and people can decide. You know, the next of the kin can decide. Maybe wife, brother, son, daughter. Anybody can decide whether they want to take part in the organ donation or not.
Okay. Ashish, you are an entrepreneur. What advice are you going to give to young aspiring entrepreneurs?
A few things which are very important to become successful. You know, if you are a business owner or you are app maker or anything you want to do and accomplish on your own. One is, of course, you should have the core competence of your subject from where you want to excel. The other is that you have to, you know, of course, risk-taking behavior is important, but one has to really be clear, you know, how far and wide you want to go, and you should know your strengths and weaknesses. But you know, gut feel is something which I trust upon. It may not be good in hands of other people, but I strongly feel that, you know, over a period of time you start getting to know or what we call as premonition of, you know, people whom you are going to deal with, and you start trusting your gut feel for few of the things where you don't get a straight answer. Never take a decision in haste. You know, sleep over maybe a night or two and then take a decision. I think you'll save a lot of heartburns. And you know, whatever team you build, you have to take everyone along. You should not, you should always be giving back, or, you know, giving more is more important than, you know, getting or taking from other people. That always keeps you on a higher pedestal. And people, you don't have to ask for respect from other people or your teammates. It automatically will get delivered. And you know, feedback, whether you're doing right or wrong, a genuine feedback from you know, colleagues, directly or indirectly, will always give you a third eye, how you're doing, what can you change, and what can be, you know, your weaknesses you may not know, but if you keep taking feedback, you know, you'll be a better person every year. And you know, one has to stay grounded and keep working. Hard work, there is no substitute. One should keep striving for excellence, because less than that, you cannot you know, make a mark on the face of the earth.
No, wonderful advice, Ashish. I think the young entrepreneurs are going to benefit out of it. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your valuable thoughts. Your journey was truly inspiring, and your contributions towards healthcare, your commitment to excellence is commendable. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Dr. Aashish Chaudhry's journey is a testament to the power of perseverance and excellence in healthcare industry. The advice that he has given to young entrepreneurs, I think this is going to offer valuable lessons to everyone who wants to make a difference. And his story is a beacon of hope for all who wants to build something extraordinary. So let's take his spirit forward and mark something positive in this world. So we wish Aakash Hospitals a continued success. And with this, I conclude my first episode of JIMS Founder Series. Dhanyavad.